Hey everyone, it's DIzE here and welcome back to a new session video. So a few days ago the first update in a while came out, which included new features like pressure flips and a whole new part of the map. I originally wanted to make a showcase or a review of the new update, but the more I played the game, the more I got frustrated with it, so I decided to make a different video instead: how to improve session. In this video I will list 20 points or things in the game that I don't really like and give my view on how to improve it. Don't get me wrong, this is not to hate on session, but rather to give constructive criticism. Also, this is just my opinion and you can sure have a different opinion, so if you disagree with something I say, write a comment, let me know your thoughts, I will be happy to read your point of view. That being said, we will start right off the list, but just a quick note first, I won't talk about the game being super laggy, that it has a lot of glitches and needs more customization and new tricks like no complies, hippie jumps, foot plants, late flips, primo slides, dark slide, more grab. Yeah, but that's all stuff that will sure be added in the future, at least I hope so. Anyways, now really starting off the list, we have the problem of the on-foot camera. Right now the on-foot camera is not locked, like not at all, which means that you always have to adjust it in order to know where you're going, and for some reason if you keep moving it around it really makes you feel dizzy. Just add a fixed camera that is slightly higher than the skating camera so that you have a better overview when you walk around. Skate 3 did a fantastic job with this. Next one is also something about the camera, but this time it's about the skating camera view. In the new update we now got the option to fully control the view, which is really nice. Besides that is totally bugged and sometimes your camera is just switched up to the other side. Yeah, but a problem I still have is the way the camera follows your skater when you turn. See, if you take a really sharp turn, your camera needs a whole 3 to 4 seconds to fully come around back into its normal position. Now this kinda resembles a real life skater that follows you while skating, but it's actually quite bad because you don't see where you're going. It gets even worse when you're doing a full U-turn and just see the front of your skater. Now a solution for this would simply be to either have a faster moving camera or a camera that sticks more to your player. Also I want to add that right now there's a bug that when you just ride just underneath a ceiling, your camera glitches out and you can't see anything for a split second. Alright, for the third point we have spinning. For me this is one of the most important points to be fixed or improved. We have the option between 3 different spin modes. That's nice, but I still don't feel comfortable with any of them. The most logic one would be the pressure option, but whenever I use it, it feels way too sensitive, so that my skater keeps overshooting when I try to do 180s. Now first I thought that it's maybe just like that because in this game you use the triggers to spin, but Skate XL does that too and spinning in that game feels just fine. You get used to it right away. So yeah, just make the spinning controls way less sensitive. And the second thing I would change about spinning is that first, if you let go of the triggers, your skater should also stop spinning and not just keep going. We had the same thing back in Skate 1 and well, let's just say they also got rid of it in Skate 2 and 3. And secondly, you should be able to start spinning at any time in the air. Now of course this doesn't make that much sense. I mean in reality you can't also just start spinning after 2 seconds in the air. But having this feature makes the game feel a lot more controllable and also gives the option to do very late 180s, which just looks sick. Next one we have doing fast grind motions. So for some reason if you do the motions for a grind too fast, your skater just won't do anything. So as an example, if I want to do an ollie to a no slide and I do a quick ollie, let go of the stick and then press it right, really quick, it seems to be too fast for the game and it just is not recognized. Now this is really frustrating as the game kinda punished you for doing the tricks really fast and it feels like you just have not so much control over what you do. For some of you this might not be a big issue, but I think that this can easily be fixed, so I thought that I'd just address it. Talking about grinds, coming in right to the next point, and that's popping out of grinds. Right now, every time you want to pop out of a grind, for some reason your skater just pops out very much to the side instead of forward, which sometimes can really mess up your line. But even worse, it seems like you have no control over in which direction you want to pop out. I heard some people say that you can just turn shortly before popping out, just like in Skate XL, but that just does not work for me. So no matter what you do, you will always pop out on this side, which really needs to be fixed. In Skate 3 it kinda was automatic, but Skate XL found an even better way, so that you just shortly press one of the triggers to decide which side you want to pop out, or you press both of them to go straight. And I gotta say, this idea... Now we're staying at grinds for one more point, and that's the stance control switch when doing tricks like tail slides. So normally a kickflip works like this. Now you would think that you could do a trick into a tail slide and then do this motion to kickflip out of it. But right now the controls turn by 90 degrees when doing tricks like a tail slide, so that you have to move your tricks like this to flip out. Now I totally get the logic behind this. Your board turns by 90 degrees, so the movement of your trick should also turn by 90 degrees, right? And I know some people who actually really love this feature, but for me, well... I think it's just unnecessary and makes tricks like tail slides more complex than it should. And if you really think about it, it doesn't even make that much sense. I mean, when you do a tail slide in real life and flip out, your feet don't really go in a different direction since your body is also turned. Also, I found out that if you just do an ollie, then turn by 90 degrees and then do a tail slide, you can flip out just normally, which is kinda inconsistent. But hey, I guess some people really enjoy this feature, so how about just adding an option to turn it on or off? That would be the perfect solution for both. Okay, next one we have higher tricks. And I know many people will now say the game is supposed to be realistic, but in my opinion doing tricks this low is not really realistic. I often come into situations in which I just can't or just can barely gap onto a ledge or an obstacle, and I just think that the pop of the tricks is way too low. Okay, maybe not way too low, but it could definitely be a bit higher. With this update we now got the option to choose how the trick height is affected by stance, so why not also give us the option to have a bit higher tricks or just to make them a bit higher in general. Also, I still feel that the timing for doing high ollies is too slow, which makes fast lanes really hard. My solution for this would either be to be able to crouch down much faster for a high ollie, or to push both sticks down just like in Skate XL. That system really works great in my opinion. Pushing. Yes, there's a big problem with pushing right now, and it's quite simple. If you push really fast and then let go of it and start again, your skater starts back at the slow pace. But there's really a simple solution for this. Just connect the pushing speed to the speed of the skater, so that if your skater is already going really fast, he will also start with fast pushes right away. By the way, a small note. For some reason you always have to wait like half a second before you can push when you go back to your marker. This is kind of weird and makes the game feel very slow. And one more thing about pushing, or rather speed, your skater loses speed way too slow, meaning once you push a few times you can go on forever, and it really feels a bit off in my opinion. Well, here's a little comparison to Skate 3 so that you know what I mean. Now we come to the replay editor, and oh boy, is this thing complicated. Like, it sure has some really great features, but it took me so long to fully understand it, and even now placing markers takes super long, and in the end it doesn't even look that smooth. But the worst part is that if you rewind, you can't actually rewind the movement of the camera. So if I see a little hiccup right here and want to correct it, nope, I'm back here. The replay editor definitely needs some more work and can be dumbed down a bit. Like, look at the Skate 3 replay editor. It's almost perfect and not complex at all. So as you know, the whole game has this VHS tape kind of look, and normally I'm a big fan of that. I mean, just look at my outro. But I feel like that these small scratches at the bottom and the color glitches at the corners of the screen just make the game look kinda dirty or not so clean, if you understand what I mean. It would be cool to have an option to turn it off, but this is just a really minor thing, to be honest. Talking about weird graphic stuff, this motion blur copy ghosting effect at the bottom of your legs, it really looks weird and makes the game look blurry and not clean at all. Next one, okay, manual reverts. Pretty cool, right? But right now there seems to be a big problem where it's just super hard to do a revert out of a manual, like it only works half of the time. I already tested out a lot of stuff with the revert sensitivity option, but I really find myself so often in that situation where I want to do a manual revert and just keep doing this little wiggles like this. Speaking of wiggles, you know how you can gain a little bit of speed by wiggling your manual? Well, that's not possible in session. In Skate 3 this works really well. You can gain just a little bit speed so you don't stop rolling around, and I think this should definitely be a feature in session too. Now, do you remember how I said that I don't want to talk about adding new tricks? Well, I have one exception: WALLIES. The reason is just that I think WALLIES should not be a new trick, but rather a change in the physics of the game. See, right now you see a nice spot and you want to do a little wally off that ledge or wall, but your skater just keeps falling as soon as his board touches the wall. I think the physics of the game should allow the board to take in a lot more force so that it naturally can do wallies. Kinda similar to how wallies in Skate XL work right now. Another physics bug that is right now in the game is that you can't push when you're on an uneven ground like a ramp or a bank, and your skater just keeps turning to ride down. So if I want to push along this bank to get off the edge, I can't really do that, which is really frustrating. While we talk about pushing, I can also not forget to mention that it is really weird how you always have to wait a little while after you ran and got on your board before you can do anything. So whenever you run, jump on your board and then want to turn or do a trick, you first have to wait almost a full second, which is another thing that makes the game feel really stiff and slow. One thing that I'm quite sure about will change in the future, but I still want to mention it, is the option to adjust how tight our trucks are, especially when crouched down. See right here, I want to crouch down and then take a sharp right turn to get onto these stairs, but that's not really possible like that. Okay, we are almost at the end, but this is something really important. You should be able to move from one trick into another. By this I mean that you should be able to go from a pressure flip position to a 360 flip position, which is not possible unless you let go of your sticks. And also, even more importantly, it should be possible to go from a nose grind to a 50-50 or the other way around. Right now you are locked into one grind only. The only way to get into another grind is by turning, but that's not really the real deal. We want to be able to do some nice 5-0 to 50-50 to nose grind combos. That really should be possible in a good skateboarding game. Okay, and now for the very last one. Tricks in general feel kinda slow, especially when doing them out of a manual. See, right here I wanted to do a nollie off this manual pad. Now I have to flick my sticks this early in order to do the trick at the very end of the manual pad. So the delay between flicking my sticks and actually doing the tricks is way too long. Alright, those were 20 points. Now one more time I want to say that this is not a hate video against Creature Studios or Session itself. This is more like a summary of my experience with the game and constructive criticism on what I would change. So yeah, I really hope that the developers see this video and that it will help them on their way of making this game. Because I still think that it's a good skateboarding game and it has even more potential to be a really good final game, but until then it still has a long way to go. Anyways, what's your opinion on all of these points? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have any other points I haven't mentioned yet? Write a comment, I will read all of them and be happy to have a little chat with you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more sessions, Skate XL and Skate 3 videos. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!